10 ways disability laws hurt normal people. Political correctness was designed for two reasons. First, to use it against people for financial gain, such as the ADA-related psychologists, psychiatrists, lawyers, and bureaucrats who make their fortunes off the backs they cripple. To create victims out of folks who were not victims before the ADA. As Walter K. Olson so accurately says, we didn't want to be seen as victims. By the way, the ADA stands for the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA, or backwards, the ADA, and it's backwards. Political correctness is not something cute that we can shrug off as some lefty's pet. Political correctness is deadly. Nowhere is political correctness more deadly than in the Americans with Disabilities Act. Consider the deaf person who recently sued for not being hired as a lifeguard. The managers of the beach were concerned that the deaf person may not hear drowning screams for help. The ADA lawyers, they don't care. To the ADA, life and death issues take a back seat when it comes to justifying their jobs. The ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, increases discrimination against the handicapped. I can prove it, but that's not my purpose here. My purpose here is to show the ADA's cost to normal people. If you are normal, here are 10 ways the ADA harms you. It was difficult, by the way, narrowing this down to only 10 items. 1. The next time your kids go swimming, how comfortable will you be knowing that the ADA wants the managers of that pool or beach to hire deaf lifeguards if one of them applies? 2. You pay higher prices in stores for everything you buy to purchase new ramps, faucets, doors, parking signs, revamped parking lots, converted counter heights, light switches, phones, toilets, sinks, stalls, and even the wide aisle widths required, which cut down on the amount of merchandise store owners can sell. 3. You pay higher prices for the business owners who must defend themselves or settle out of court when they are sued under the ADA for their formerly legal hiring practices and who faithfully followed legal building codes that were in effect but then tossed out by the ADA in the 1990s. You pay higher prices as a taxpayer when the Department of Justice and the EEOC brings many of these lawsuits to court. You see, the public pays both sides of an ADA lawsuit, the side of the defendant and the side of the plaintiff, who's often the United States government. You lose. No matter which side wins, the lawyers always get paid. 5. You pay higher ticket prices at the movies. Not only are theaters being sued to put wheelchair seating in higher and more central locations in the large auditoriums, they're having to install elevators as well. Not only are multiple seats being removed to make way for wheelchair spaces that may or may never be used, some seats are being widened to make way for the disabled fat people suing under the ADA because they can't fit in normal seats. Fewer seats available means ticket prices sold, means fewer tickets, therefore higher prices for you, which mean more lawsuits for other businesses, which means the ADA activists profit. 6. You pay the moral and ethical degradation when retroactive laws like the ADA pass. Retroactive laws are harmful. They're evil. They ensure that you can't count on today's building codes being legal tomorrow, and you can't count on the justice system to ever protect you in the future. 7. You pay the court costs associated with the government buildings that are still being sued today in 2016 because they don't conform to the ADA's accessibility building codes. That's right. The government started requiring, then suing, private businesses to conform to the draconian ADA building standards they themselves designed without first changing all their own front doors. Leading by example is not a term familiar to most government leaders. Actually, saying government leaders gives the term leader a bad name. 8. You pay cost in lost time as you walk by row after row of empty wheelchair parking spaces to get to the front of any American business. The government knows best how many spaces a business owner needs to allocate for disabled parking. The business owner doesn't get a say in the matter. It presupposes that the government knows every business owner's clientele far better than the business owner himself. That's why you so often see row after row of empty wheelchair spaces and every normal space overflowing. 9. Round doorknobs are illegal in the United States of America. You didn't know that, did you? Commercial establishments will be shut down if they refuse to change from round doorknobs to levered ones. 10. Does your family have a wheelchair symbol painted on your driveway? If not, you might soon. The ADA is coming to your neighborhood. Already some neighborhoods are being required to build houses that meet accessibility standards. You might as well buy the blue paint now before the rush. Disabled people. They love that term. When an alarm system is disabled, it doesn't work and is useless. I resent being called disabled and useless. I work for a living. I am a handicapped man. I was born with one leg and a total of 3 deformed fingers. The Americans with Disabilities Act advocates, they don't like it when I say handicapped and normal. That's one reason I use no terms other than handicapped and normal. Of course, they also don't like the fact that I type 45 to 50 words a minute, rollerblade, lift weights, run, and shoot a lot of guns for fun. They really hate it, though, that I tell the truth about the Americans with Disabilities Act, and now you know 10 ways that the ADA harms normal people.